let's start off with Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady, I believe, is what most people have as their favorite. I typically see him in the top two when people do their rankings. So let's talk about Brady. Tom Brady's case for the MVP this season. Obviously, he's doing amazing throwing the football. I believe he's on pace to set the NFL record for most passing yards in a single season. Now, obviously, asterisk with this season with all the like most and highest, all those types of things, because there is the extra game. But on pace for a ridiculous amount of yards. He's got like 25 plus touchdowns. He's slinging that rock, and the Buccaneers are sitting at 6-2, winning the AFC South, or sorry, NFC South. I mean, overall, like what's the main case for Tom Brady? Is it just the numbers?
With the numbers, I do think coming off of a Super Bowl win helps, even though I know it's not this season, but it's like the thought process of like, oh, he's been so dominant. That's the last game you saw of the previous year. So I think it just kind of gives you like momentum coming into the year. And then for him, I mean, you're 25 touchdowns, 5 picks, 6-2, potentially going to win the entire NFC and probably be the Super Bowl favorite right now. I would say they are. I think that it's just, that's why, like, there's so much success. And the stats are great too. Now you can also look at his situation and go, well, yeah, he has a great situation. You can't really take anything away from Brady though right now. So there's literally like nothing negative going on. I think that's why he's probably atop it, even though I have him here at second. So interesting.
Yeah, for me, when I look at Tom Brady and kind of his case, it's like obviously the numbers are amazing. Like he's playing great football, and that you can't take away from that. It's just something that I have to look at is like the supporting cast that he has around him, because there are games where Brady doesn't have to do anything. There have been games where Leonard Fournette just dominates. And there have been games where like it's just not as necessary for him to win. And I think his supporting cast has been tremendous. I don't think a lot of people were expecting their running game to be nearly as effective as it was. Like I think people were expecting it to be like last year. But Leonard Fournette has continued playoff Lenny into the regular season this year. And I think that like is just adding to this attack. And obviously Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, probably the best wide receiver group in the NFL. I have them a little bit over Dallas, but I think they're a clear 1 and 2. And also, Rob Gronkowski hasn't played the whole year. He's missed some time. But Rob Gronkowski this year has been, I would probably say, a top 5 tight end when he's played. He has looked incredible. Last year, he did not look amazing. He had some good plays, but it seems like the rust is gone, and he's no longer the best tight end in the NFL that he once was. But he looks really, really good when he's playing with Tom Brady. So, like overall, just that supporting cast, and obviously the offensive line is a stout offensive line. Tristan Wirfs, Matt Skura. I mean, those are 2 of the best at their position. So, like, it's just something that you have to look at it. It's just like, yes, Brady's playing amazing, but he's not the only one playing amazing. And when I look at MVP, like that's something to pay attention to. They're not the number 1 team in the NFC. I think that's kind of holding them back right now. They did lose to the Rams. They did lose a terrible game to the Saints that they probably shouldn't have lost. But overall, like, I mean, Brady's definitely a good pick. I can't fault anybody that has Brady as their MVP. And the narrative's kind of going with him. I mean, Tom Brady's going to be talked about by the media because he's Tom Brady, and that's going to help you win that MVP. But is there anything else you want to add on to Brady?
No, I think that's pretty good. I mean, he's definitely one of the favorites. I don't know if he's my favorite for the reasons you said, like, and it just kind of depends on how do you pick your MVP? What is it? The numbers and everything back him up, I think. So I think he will win, but I don't think he's the guy that's performed the best at the quarterback position, because it is a quarterback award. I mean, it's definitely become that. I think there's a couple other guys that have, like, their team has exceeded more because of their individual play.
Yeah.
And that's why I think there's some other guys I probably like more, but I would expect Brady to win at this point. I do. Like, I think he'll actually take home the award, which is more important in this discussion.